Okay, for the EMCO area, for example, in Simpang Regam, so it's going to be completed by tomorrow on 28th. But more importantly, that is an EMCO, and we will continue to monitor from time to time that area. So that is part of our monitoring system in place under Pejabat Kesihatan Daerah. So that's the first question. Second question is that when we look into the MCO, we have 4 action plans in the MCO, and 2 from the government and 2 for the public. From the government part is the border control. That is very important for border control. And today we still continue to have the border control in place. And I think this is something that because we realize that more than 180 countries have COVID positive cases. And if we open our border, certainly, the tourists coming to our country will bring the virus. So border control will be strengthened. Second is the MCO, movement control. So we are looking into the movement control. And we have actually looked into movement control of 1, 2, and 3. The most important is actually to flatten the curve. And what we have seen is that we succeeded to flatten the curve. And now we are in the phase of recovery. And you see for the last 1 week, we have 2 digits. And that shows that our MCO works, but it's not going to end COVID-19. So we anticipate that perhaps the COVID-19 will continue in terms of the infection, but we need to contain and control the infection from time to time, from areas to areas, as long as we can control. The reason of flattening the curve is to allow our facilities, for example, our facilities in hospital and our public health action plan, for example, can be implemented in terms of the manpower and etc. So that's the reason why we need the MCO to flatten the curve. So today we see the capacity in the hospital, we have we only use less than 30% of capacity. If you look into the ICU, you look into the COVID patient being intubated, the numbers are decreasing. So which means our capacity has already been enhanced. So we are able to cope with that. So that's the reason of why we need the MCO in the first place. And the border control also, looking into the border control, we managed to stop the imported cases coming back to the country. Except our own citizens, we have no choice but to quarantine them for 14 days. Even then, we found 144 of them positive COVID-19. So the third is, when we look into it, is the most important is we do not have the vaccine yet. So the only vaccine that we have is stay at home and practice social distancing. That is important, and that can be done by everyone. And number 4 is to maintain a good personal hygiene. So this is how we look into the whole action plan that we have and also the practices. So we hope that in terms of social distancing and maintaining personal hygiene, that will continue as part of our new norm now, right? And more importantly is that from the government perspective, we will tighten the border control, and perhaps we will look into the implementation of MCO. But what we have seen today, we have seen for the last 1 week double digit. And so the cases, despite we have an EMCO, for example, in Pasar Borong and a few areas that we have done the EMCO, and our figures are still within double digit. So I think that is something that we need to re-look back again. How can we enhance this further for us to control the COVID infection and break the chain of transmission in our community? So this will be a long run, for example, because as long as we do not have the vaccine, there's a lot of research been done, but perhaps it will take more than a year or 2. But in the meantime, what we need to do is to practice, take all the precautionary measures for us to break the transmission in the community.